Learning to transition between chords is very, very challenging for new players to the ukulele and for players who've been playing for a long time and are trying to learn new chords. So the way that I work with this is to woodshed them. I pick two chords and I partner them together and I play back and forth, hundreds and hundreds of times until I get to a place where I don't have to think about it. My fingers know what to do. And for many of you, the transition between a D7 and a G7 is problematic for right now. So this is how I suggest that we work with it. We're going to start with a D7 chord, and we're using a specific fingering because the next chord is a G7. I'm using these two fingers, my middle finger and my ring finger. And with a D7, all the work is in the second fret. So I place my middle finger on the G string, second fret, and my ring finger on the E string, second fret. There's that D7. Now, what I'm suggesting you do is take these two fingers, that form, that D7, and imagine now that you're going to make that D7, but only one string towards your feet. So what does that mean? I'm going to put my middle finger on the C string, and I'm going to put my ring finger on the E string. And I'm strumming that chord. That chord is actually called a Hawaiian G. It's also called a G major 7. It's also a G6. It's also like one of the coolest chords in the world. I love this chord. Now, what am I going to do to turn that back into a D7? I bring it up like this. Back down. Now in that position down here, what do we need to do to turn that into a G7? Well, what finger is kind of flying in the air right now? It's the index finger. So let's go to the first fret and put that index finger down on the E string, and we have our G7. Now let go of your index finger and bring the other two fingers back up a string, and we have our D7. It's really a very elegant transition. So we have our D7, bring those two fingers down, and we have a G7. When we're learning chords for the first time, you're going to need to form them one finger at a time. It's going to take a while before you can lay all the fingers down at the same time. So be patient with yourselves. So we have our D7, and we have our G7. So I would partner those two chords and play them back and forth. What we're aiming towards is this, starting with the D7. 1, 2, 3, 4, G7. 2, 3, 4. That's the goal. Now one of the tricks that we can use is to slow it down. So watch this. Starting with the D7. 1, 2, 3, 4, D7. G7. Maybe we have to slow it down even more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now try closing your eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here's a trick. If you want to slow it down even more, we know we have 4 beats in a measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm going to do is play the chord on the first beat of the measure, which is called the downbeat. And that leaves 3 beats that are silent, but actually give you and me time to get to the next chord. So let me show you. I'm going to count it down. a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Tap your foot. Whatever you do when you're practicing, practice in tempo. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see how much time that we're allowing ourselves to make that chord change. Now the way we make it a little bit more challenging is now we're going to strum down on the first 2 beats, and then the second 2 beats of the measure are going to be silent. So let me show you. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. A little less time to make that change. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, to make it even more challenging, we're going to strum down on the first 3 beats, and the 4th beat is a rest. So it'll be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we play down on each beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I suggest you do this just a little bit, several times a day. Change your position, play it in your living room, play it in the bathroom, play it in the kitchen, go into the bedroom, sit on the stairs, close your eyes, walk around and play. So these are ways of getting into our bones and our skin, because the point is we want to get to the place where we just do this automatically and we don't have to think about it. Happy strumming.